Absolutely. What were your thoughts? Let's dig deeper on the global privacy control and the opt-out preferences. And I did video years ago about global privacy control, explaining what it was and what it isn't. I think for a normal consumer, they thought global privacy control was meant globally opting them out of everything, and that's not exactly how the technology worked. But the your opt-out preferences signal the way that you all are articulating it sort of took it a step further. But can you explain what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do on our website. And by the way, the drop system, you can visit privacy.ca.gov/drop to access, if you're a Californian, to access the drop system. But also on privacy.ca.gov, we also have a set of privacy tips, including information for consumers, how to enable opt-out preference signals for businesses on our cppa.ca.gov website. And by the way, we're in the process of going to merge the cppa.ca.gov site with privacy.ca.gov. So we're kind of integrating that together. But there's business guidance to support the global privacy control, what we call the opt-out preference signal. But at a high level, it's a plugin extension toggle that you can configure in a web browser that will tell all websites you visit not to sell or share your personal information. And so it's kind of the equivalent that if you go to a website, you scroll to privacy notices, and then you configure the cookies down below, and one of which would invariably be opt out or don't sell or share. This facilitates that. So again, if someone really did not want the websites and the businesses that they interact with online to not sell or share the information, they would have to either do that. They would have to do that manually by doing the cookie configuration or going into their account and telling the business that way. This is to enable do not sell and shares at scale via your browser. So in theory, it should be a switch that you just turn on. Now, it's a great idea, and we see other states also adopting this. For example, Connecticut and others. Colorado is another example. And so we hope that increasingly, as states come out with their comprehensive privacy laws, or if there's eventually a good federal proposal, that this would be baked in to enable privacy at scale and help facilitate operationalization of privacy rights. But the issue that we try to tackle with this California Opt Me Out Act, which was AB 566 by Assembly Member Lowenthal, that was signed into law by Governor Newsom last year, is the fact that only a few browsers, and these browsers typically have very small market share, actually have that built in. Now, you can download extensions for Chrome on Windows and Edge on Windows. But the issue is that the major browser vendors did not support this out of the box, and people sometimes are reticent or don't have the knowledge to install an extension. But then when you go to the mobile browsers from these large vendors, you can't even install an extension on mobile browser. And so what this bill requires is that all browser vendors must offer an opt-out preference signal switch effective January 1st, 2027. And so this hopefully will raise the floor for privacy. And of course, it behooves California, Colorado, Connecticut, et cetera, to educate people on being able to turn on the switch. But it's much easier to educate consumers to turn on a switch if the switch is built into the browser, as opposed to not being able to turn on a switch on mobile or having to download a third-party plugin. So that's kind of the rationale and motivation. Again, all part of this theme of trying to make privacy easy.